backing down, 'cause the future is now. Not backing down, 'cause the future is now. The future starts right now.
The one thing that I've been just dying to talk to you about is your battle cry. So I have seen you post about if you want to work on the future, it's critical to work with the future.
Yes.
What the heck does that mean?
Thank you for being curious on that. I mean, let me tell you a story.
Okay.
So it was, my goodness, March 20th, 2012. And it was me walking into the Campbell Community Center, going for my United States citizenship naturalization. And just all around, amazing, just watercolor almost of people, of humanity, all going through the same journey, all going to be swearing in. And so they said, okay, everybody get in, family's here, we're about to start. But before we start, I want you to take that manila envelope with all of your papers in there, and you're gonna go to the guy in the front. There's a black box, you're gonna put everything in there. And in that manila envelope they told us to bring our work authorization cards, our green cards, old paperwork that basically, minted that this was the life that was. And so you don't need all of that anymore because you're going to be getting your citizen papership, all of that good stuff, right? And I'm there going, whoa.
Yeah.
Does anybody realize that, like, when I went through to get all of these things in this envelope, I mean, the times where I had to live in my car, I was actually sponsored, my visa was sponsored through the Violence Against Women's Act, VAWA, which was actually signed by President Joe Biden.
Yeah.
I mean, all of the memories, like nobody knew that envelope meant for me, coming to this country. I mean, nobody knew all of that journey. And so the only reason why I know there's 387 people there was because I waited. Everybody was going like, yes, here you go, here's my stuff. And I'm like, no, this is very precious.
Yeah.
I gotta keep holding on to this. Kept going to the back of the line. And it really felt like you were giving up a piece of yourself. And I kept going and I kept going and I just kept going back, and I could not muster up the courage because you're just holding on to everything you are and you don't know what this other thing is yet. And then I hear something. I hear my daughter, because it's a huge kind of mezzanine where they were at, and she goes, "Where's Mama?"
And your mommy ears can hear that in a crowd of a million, yes.
Oh my goodness. And that to me was like, wake up, and I realized from that moment on, it was like, wow, I really have to honor everything that I've been through to get through everything that is yet to come. And the symbolism for me of dropping that envelope in that box was really like, it wasn't for me. It was for everything that was gonna come after. And so the battle cry of, if you want to work on the future, you got to work with them. Because that to me was a moment where it was like, wow, I was ready to not, and say I did, right? But then you hear that voice, that little girl's voice that's like, where are you?
Yeah.
Are you showing up for me?
Right.
And that's not their intent. They're just kind of asking. And that to me kind of shaped everything else that I was doing, because it wasn't for me. Everything that I do isn't for me. It's for everything else that follows. So.
But you talk about courage, and as you're telling that story, which thank you, it's exquisite and very moving, because I was born here, and so I think, oh, everybody wants to come to America, the American dream. Well, the image is you're flying through the air on a trapeze, and to go to the next bar, you have to let go.
Oh,
and that is terrifying, absolutely terrifying. And you're grabbing for that next bar because your daughter is saying, where are you? What are you doing? And are you going forward with your journey?
When you show up and you're bright and energetic and you're ready to roll, people never know the difference.
Right.
You know, they think, hey, we start from right there, but there's so many stories behind all people.
I was delighted but not surprised to find out that you have a children's book coming out, Courage
Yes.
Takes Flight.
Yes, a children's book, absolutely.
Yes. Why a children's book, and why that topic?
Well, why a children's book? So if I'm going to say that if you want to work on the future, you got to work with the future,
Yes.
I got to really live that too. So the children's book's actually something that I wrote with my daughter.
Ava.
Ava, yes. And on the subject of courage, I mean, it was a wide variety of things we wanted to do with the story. We were talking about stories of courage and curiosity and compassion and community, and how do we mash all that together?
So
and
many C's.
So many, the vitamin C's of life.
Yes,
And we decided to just narrow it down to really courage. I think in order to have the curiosity, you need the courage to lean in. In order to have the compassion, you need the courage to see things in a different way.
Turn over here by the
Oh my word.
children's book.
Look at that! It's so amazing. I've never seen it on the shelf.
I know, right? How's it feel?
It's surreal. This is absolutely surreal.
You're famous.
My daughter's famous.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, look at this. This is absolutely amazing. I mean, what it took for us to bring this thing to life and then to see it here. So here's the story. All right, Courage Takes Flight. I'll read you just the intro part here and then I'll read you the story. So have you ever been afraid of something? Have you ever wanted to try something new but weren't quite sure how it would turn out? Follow the journey of a little girl who seems to talk herself in and out of trying something new. She doesn't want to leave the comfort of the oak tree that has provided a place for her to dream up her adventures, even though she longs to explore.
I'm going to get emotional. This is going to be hard.
Realizing that she is more than capable of conquering her fears, she summons the power of her inner voice that reminds her that she is more than capable and helps her believe in herself. The courage to try something new can lead to different outcomes. Some may experience success, failure, or collecting more lessons to learn. Having that courage also helps us realize that if what we try doesn't work out the first time, we can always find a way back to try and explore an adventure again.
This is like, I know it's a children's book, but I think that it's something that's got a message for the grown-ups in the room too. She's a remarkable woman.
Yeah.
You are raising a remarkable woman.
Oh,
That
thank you.
book is spectacular and really brings out a lot of emotion in me. When I left the last company to start Leaderology, it was hard. It was like jumping away from my beautiful oak tree.
Yeah.
And the courage. So I understand what you're talking about as it relates to, it's a children's book, but the adults in the room need the reminder.
Yeah.
So it's really an accomplishment, really.
Yeah.
So we've been talking about working on the future, and our audience is primarily human resource executives. So
Yes.
tell me, what is the future of HR? What should we be looking toward over the next 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, so the future of HR, I think, it's not HR. Yeah, it is, just another business function that happens to focus on people, right? It's not about process, it's not about policy, it's not about programs. I mean, I think there is a future where we are all responsible for making sure that people can show up as themselves, their authentic selves, so that we can get the best out of whatever those conversations are.
So how do we get our leaders ready for that shift
Yeah.
outside of HR? How do
Yeah.
how do we get the other functions ready for it?
I think it starts internally. I think we have to have our own psychological safety with ourselves as HR leaders to be able to have the courage to lay our jobs on the line every day and say the hard things. We're not just a mirror that holds things up, but we should be able to challenge other leaders at the table. I always say, you know, hey, I love having a seat on the table, but a voice at the table is better.
Right.
Having a perspective, debating it, being okay if you're wrong, right? Sharing perspective and being curious about what the other person is saying.
You know, it's interesting because the competency of a great HR leader these days is business acumen. It
Yeah.
is allyship. It is being willing to step in and say no,
Yep.
and support the employees. And as you said,
Yeah.
when they're not in the room. I'm a little further down the road than you are. My children are grown and I am an empty nester. But as I listen to you, I feel such a sense of kinship and compassion. You're a mommy,
Yes.
you're an executive, you're a philanthropist, you're an activist, now you're an author. When do you get to unplug? When do you get to just be AJ?
Yeah, you know, just be AJ is a really interesting statement. I think if you were just to randomly see me being AJ, I'd probably be with a box of crayons, drawing the next thing, drawing whatever it is that will eventually manifest in the future. Cooking. I mean, when I'm cooking or when I'm singing and writing music, I mean, that's a place where I'm just, and I usually do that at home. I do it with the kids running around. You know, I'm looking up chords on the iPhone. Like, what song should we sing? My daughter and I do this thing where it's like, okay, what song? Okay, you sing it now, and I'll play it. And so I love that I get to still tap into that kind of me that was, so that I could be the me that is.
Took my love and I took it down. I climbed the mountain and I turned around, and I saw my reflection in the snow-covered hills, and the landslide it had brought me down. Oh, mirror in the sky, what is love? Can the child within my heart rise above? Can I handle the changes of my life? Can I sail through the changing ocean tides? Well, I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I built my life around you. Well, time makes me bolder, and children get older, and I'm getting older too. Well, I'm getting older too. I took my